Hey everyone, and welcome to another video. So I was scheduling out all of my videos for December, and I realized that instead of doing a random vlog for the last couple weeks in December, since New Year's is coming up, I thought I would do a new vlog series just specifically for these two last Wednesdays in December. If it's going to be two different vlogs, it maybe just be one, so it may be the last Wednesday, where I go over last year's resolutions and try to complete them before my time runs out. So essentially, I don't know how much of this I'm going to do tonight, or even just in general, because I'm burnt out on my book, The Tides of War. I'm working on a special secret project I can't talk about, which is huge. I'm editing Immortal. And I'm also trying to stay ahead of my YouTube channel as well as on top of my social media. So I'm very busy right now. And so I don't know how much time I'm going to have, but I'm just curious. Honestly, this is more of a vlog to see how much of this stuff I have done and if there's anything I can do to like accomplish some of my, resolutions from last year. So that's kind of what this is. It may turn into something else, but that's the plan right now. So I don't know if I'm going to react to the video or to the Canva presentation. So we'll see what happens. But I'm going to find it, put a few clips here to reflect you guys, to remember, so we can all reflect and remember what my goals were, and then see how many of them I epically failed at and which ones I've done. So let's get right into this. Hey everyone, so this is part of my vlog for whether I can do my New Year's resolutions or not. So I made this presentation last year and I made a video. I'll have a link as a card to it up above here somewhere, so you guys can check out that video in its detail, so you can see what I was expecting myself to work on last year and basically compare it to now. So these were my resolutions of 2023, and did I do my ones from 2022? And so we're going to skip all of that because that's just 2022. So overall, I had 8 out of my 15 resolutions completed in 2022, 7 out of 15 not completed. So I wanted to see how I would do in 2023. So my stats already aren't looking good. So my first resolution in 2023 was to publish Rogue Valiant Book 5, including finish editing it. So yes, I did do that. So we're at 1. I may actually keep track on a little paper here. So I did do number 1 is going in. I'm going to put the numbers in there. So number 2, finish editing Immortal, complete it fully before releasing it, then publish it and have a huge launch, biggest I've ever had. I'm in the middle of editing Immortal right now, so I have been editing it. I did not get it done, but I think it's better to wait and do it properly than rush release it, because as I said, I do actually want it to be the biggest launch I've ever had. So I did not do number 2. Number 3, figure out a publishing plan, marketing plan for the Valiant series, the Republic Chronicles, and all my other books, including standalones. So I do actually have a marketing plan intact, and I am currently working on rebranding. I did rebrand the series once this year already with new covers, and I'm rebranding them again. So I did come up with a marketing plan, and I do have planned releases for my standalones next year. I think I revised the Crystal Heist as well, the cover of it, kind of revamping my covers to make sure that they all look professional. And then I'm currently doing the Blood Prince is with beta readers right now, and I'm releasing it next year. So I didn't launch a lot of books this year because I was really busy editing for clients and for myself and writing a lot. I wrote a lot of books this year that surprised me because I made this whole new universe that just exploded on me. So I didn't launch a whole lot, but that's that. So, all right. So number 3, I did. Number 4, publish a Valiant bonus book. And I did. I actually published all of them. Forgotten, Sightless, Reclaimed, Healed, Victorious, which was a new one that I wrote and published. And then Bound, which was Rogue's short companion. I also did rebrand them at least once, and I published all of them. I revamped all of them with the series, and I got Forgotten and Bound professionally published by my editor before they were released. So number 5, figure out a better marketing plan for the Valiant short story endings. I've actually figured out several different marketing plans. So I still haven't decided on one particular one, but I tried several different things. One of them that I did was call them companions instead of endings because they weren't endings, but I like my brain had the wrong term to describe what they are. And then I've been talking to several different people and coming up with different ideas. I tried releasing them for free so that people could just buy them. I released them on my website. I did a bundle where you could get them all. I put them at the end of the next book in the series. And now I've recently, like, okay, there are post-credit scenes to set up bigger storylines later on in the series, like Marvel did, like the post-credit scenes of Marvel. So that's what I'm going to try to do next year. But I did try several different plans this year. Number 6, release 1 or 2 standalone books. Last Man Standing, The Blood Prince, The Last Pendragon, etc. I did not release any of them this year, but I do have The Blood Prince already with beta readers, and I did actually make a cover for it and edit it once. So I kind of did preparations for it, but I wanted to actually launch a few of them last year. Next, all right. Number 7, outline the rest of the Clemmy's Hope series. Nope, didn't do that. Outline Game of Lies Book 3. Nope, didn't do that. Number 9, beat sheet for the Immortal TV show. Nope, didn't do that. Publish Million Word Challenge. Nope, didn't do that. 11, grow YouTube channel and social media, including audiobooks for free on YouTube. I kind of did more of my YouTube channel, so I'm going to actually put that on the did side. Finish publishing writing advice book. Did not do that. Plan and write Lost Magi. I planned it, but I have not written it. So that's nope. Write all 3 Republic Chronicles book guides. Nope, did not do that. I think I set really high expectations for myself. Number 16, released the Valiant series books so far in audiobooks. I did do that, actually, I can proudly say. I'm still, Assassin has been delayed, but I just got news that Samurai and Rogue are out. So Assassin being delayed is not my fault. That is on my narrator just due to his schedule. But I did do that, so I'm going to count that as the did category because I put a lot of effort into the audiobooks, and that's another thing that took away from me publishing books was doing all the audiobooks because I had to listen to them, edit them. I edited the books, I rebranded the books. It was a huge undertaking. Publish Shadow Magi and at least date. Nope, did not do that. 18, get my merchandise shop set up. I did do that, actually. Several different times I did my notebooks and coloring books and journals, which you can find in the link in the description below, and my Spreadshirt shop, which you can find a link in the description below, which is not just for me as an author. There's a bunch of writer-themed and reader-themed merchandise you guys can find that are really fun. Roll out a lot of content. I did not do that. I wrote a lot of content, but I haven't been keeping up with my marketing so good this year. And then brand myself officially. I am proud to say that I did do that. I figured out my official brand colors because I did my writing nook, and coincidentally it ended up being black, white, and blue is my favorite color, so I just decided to stick with those colors for my branding. I did officially come up with my logo. I'll pop that on the screen here, and my tagline, I changed that. So I feel very confident in myself this year because I did officially brand myself as an author. So overall, what are the stats? I did, all right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, I'm going to turn this around and make it a big video. Okay, I think I may have miscounted, but according to my little notes here, I don't know if that's reversed for you guys, but I did 8 out of 20 resolutions, and I did not do 11 out of 20. So by those stats, I actually underperformed this year because I didn't do the majority, so that's like 52% or something like that. It's a little bit higher percentage than the ones that I did do, so I did not do a whole lot this year. But I do want to reflect on what I did do this year because I actually, while I didn't follow my resolutions, God's inspiration hit me and I did a whole lot more that I feel like was important to have done this year. So I want to go over my writing book because I started logging all of my writing, and talk about my Mythreach universe and go over what I did do this year, even though I did not necessarily follow my resolutions. All right, so I'm going to try to keep this with my face not as weird, but I am trying to read the book and look at it, so I may just do a regular video without showing my face if I need to. So we're starting at January 2023 of this year. I was still writing By the Light of the Moon. I'll have a card linking to these videos. Okay, I think this is better. So, yeah, right here. Okay. As long as I don't move, I'm fine. So anyways, I was writing By the Light of the Moon, which Originally started off with my intention. I literally started it like the 2022, but I continued writing it 2023. It's a action thriller, I would say, and I really worked hardcore on it throughout this month. I realized turning pages are going to be a little bit difficult. I didn't think this through, guys. Okay, I found a different position here. So anyways, I was working on By the Light of the Moon. I still haven't finished it, but I did work on it and make quite a bit of progress in it. And my other project is my Struggle to Have a Baby book. It still has no title, but it's a nonfiction, and I've been working on it for a while. As you can see, that was day 6 there. And then I started a new book called Shadowfall, and this is the book that changed everything and set the course for 2023 for me. So Shadowfall, I started writing it, I started world building, and the world felt empty. And I'd already built a universe called Warhaven for my Mystical Companions book, which started off as a fan fiction and a playground for me to play in my head for a long, long time, that I eventually built Warhaven and figured out the details of that world. It was also like Skyrim inspired. I make a lot of characters in Skyrim, and I wanted a world to put those characters in so I could tell their stories eventually. Shadowfall felt empty, and when I started working on this book, I basically combined like the 4 or 5 continents that I build with Shadowfall with Warhaven, and this became known as Warhaven Shadowfall. It was later on, way after I wrote Shadowfall, that I decided to give it a name, call it Mythreach. And it was later after that, when I came up with more story ideas, which we'll see here in a bit, that I decided to call it, to label all of my book series that is set in this universe as a Mythreach Legends novel. Even though this is the Shadowfall, so Shadowfall is book 1 in the Shadowfall duology. My Mystical Companions series is its own series set in Mythreach, and I have other series that I just started, and the whole world of Mythreach just exploded on me. So as you can see, I wrote in Shadowfall. I took some breaks, so I feel like this was a pretty good pace for me to work on this, but this was my main book that I was working on. At the same time, I started editing. I've been editing professionally for a while now, but this year I really needed the extra money, so I took on a lot more editing clients, and there were very few times when I was without a book to edit. So then we get into February, and I didn't write for a while, and I got back into things, so I took a little bit of a break, probably much needed at this point. And it was day 27 of Shadowfall where I jumped back to By the Light of the Moon, just randomly inspired one day. Kept working, and I think this was the final day of Shadowfall, which after writing it, not every consecutive day, but 28 days total where I worked on it. So then I started a fantasy version of the book Joseph, and I started working on it until I just got stuck, and it was like an unfinished project that I never finished. So I left that undone, and was working on editing for clients. So I wasn't really, and I don't keep track of that because it's for my clients and it's all private and stuff. So I was editing heavily. And I also sent off like Rogue to my editor and Immortal and all the short stories. I was redoing the Valiant covers. I think I did that last year. So I was just like working in other ways. And then, as you can see, I called it Spirit of the Forged, here. And is that? Huh. I don't remember what that was. Oh, Republic Chronicles, I randomly came up with an idea for the future, and I started writing it and working on it, and I just had fun. It was like this little pet project that was for me, not intending to publish it. Just one of those, after writing heavy-handed for other like stuff that I know I'm going to publish, it's nice to have a butter book where it's just like you're not publishing it. You don't have to make it perfect. You don't have to cater to readers. You don't have to make sure it makes sense. You don't have to make it consistent. You don't have to try to make a good first draft. You can just write the book. And so I was working on that, and I had outlined the Mech Network, which is the second book in the Mech Soldier, my sci-fi romance series. And I outlined it already. I don't remember when I did that. That might have been last year. So I decided I need to write it because I want to get that trilogy. It's going to be 3 books done. So I started writing it, and that's when I kind of got into that more. And as you can see, I switched to working on the Mech Network. So this Butter book, Spirit of the Forged, I left it and never came back to it. But I did start writing in the Mech Network pretty consistently, most every day. And I also started, this is when the idea for the Thrones of Mythreach series came into being, which is still part of my Mythreach Legends universe. Okay. And the idea behind that was set in my Mythreach universe, but specifically fantasy romance. All of my books usually have a romantic subplot to it, but I wanted to write a fantasy romance book series where the romance, you can't have the story without the romance. You can't have the story without the fantasy, you know, that kind of thing. It was very much inspired by Sarah J. Maas's books, but they're not clean, and I want clean, good Christian content, and that's also good and clean and exciting and fantasy. So that's when the first book in that series, Forged of Iron and Blood, came about. I outlined the other books that I got inspired for within that same series because they're fantasy romance standalones, for the most part. So that I got really inspired. I'm like, I got to start writing this. So I started writing Forged of Iron and Blood here. But I continued writing in the Mech Network. As you can see, I didn't, Forged of Iron and Blood. So this is the acronym for it. So I started writing in both of these really consistently, and this was April. And I remember I was shocked because I'm a 1-book kind of track mind. I cannot write more than 1 book at a time, more than 1 universe at a time. I can't work on that. Like, I have to stick 1 universe, 1 world, 1 book at a time. And usually if I start a second book, I'll either change to that one and the first book will get forgotten, or I won't continue in the second book and I'll just stick with the first book. But this was the very first time in my life that I wrote 2 large books at the same time. As you can see, I was already a little bit ahead on the Mech Network, but I still put in a lot of work on Forged of Iron and Blood, and I kept track and everything. So usually I would log it like this, like that's what I wrote that day. And then, so this would be my word count for the Mech Network. This would be what Forged of Iron and Blood was. And that was May going into, or that was April going into May. So May, continued writing both of those books very, very heavy-handedly. And I think this was the day that I finished, I don't know what this is. So this is the Mech Network. Everything that I wrote that day, I wrote, a bunch of chapters. So I tried to write the chapter and then what the word count for each chapter was. I don't know if that means that I finished it, but the final word count for the Mech Network was 100,424 words. So I finished it. I was very, very excited to get 100,000 words and to make progress and make, that's book 2 in that trilogy, which means I only have 1 more to go. So then I kept working on Forged of Iron and Blood, kept working on it, and I finished it. I don't know if that means I finished it. Epilogue right here. So I finished it a couple of days later. By the next week, I finished it as well. And its final word count was 66,587 words. So not bad. And then I obviously, after writing 2 very long books, I gave myself a break in May. And then that's when I got inspired for the next Thrones of Mythreach book called Forged of Silver and Moonlight. So I started it and I started writing it. And the reason why this starts at day 2 is because sometime earlier, these last few months, I had a Pinterest writing prompt that I wrote, and that became chapter 1. That got converted into chapter 1. So, but I didn't log that when I wrote it because it was just like a random Pinterest prompt. So going into June, and this is when I started working on editing Rogue at the same time that I was writing this. So it was toward the end of June, I think. So I kept writing Forged of Silver and Moonlight, which my husband and I just finished editing last month. So I'm very excited. This one's fully edited. I'm self-editing Forged of Iron and Blood, but Forged of Silver and Moonlight had a brand new, fully built economy system, and I needed my husband to double check all of that stuff. So Forged of Silver and Moonlight, kept writing, and I finished it on day 27, and it was 105,597 words. So again, this universe just kind of exploded on me, and that was by the end of June. And at this point, I was editing Rogue. I'll have that as a card here on the video, that vlog series as I edited Rogue. And that's what I was doing and coming into July as well, which I don't log my editing jobs, but not even for myself. So as you can see, I gave myself a break because I got full into editing Rogue and working on that. And I was still editing for clients at this time as well. And after all of that writing, I needed a break because that was most of this year was writing something, you know. So August, my birth month, that's when I decided to take some of the subplots in Mystical Companion series has a romance between two different characters that I felt like could be a standalone book. So I was like, I don't know if this is a Thrones of Mythreach book, but we're just going to call it Chains of Secrets and just kind of write it. So I took out what I had written that was in Mystical Companions, which I don't remember what the word count of that was, but I took that out and it was like, I think it was maybe 20,000 words or so. Yeah, before I added more, it was 21,000 words of the Mystical Companions book. And so I just started adding more. There was my first real rewrite that I've had for a long time where I was adding scenes and doing new scenes and just fixing it and everything. So it only took me 7 days to really get it to 50,000 words and make it a full-length book. But keep in mind, I had the bulk of it already done and I just needed to add more and make sure that it was a strong plot line. So then, this Mythreach universe has a war going on between the Grovians and the Thoranians that has been kind of a few pieces here and there in each of these books that I've been writing. It's been relevant. And I knew I had a series planned specifically that dealt with this war. And I decided to call it The Tides of War. And it's part of the Conquest of Mythreach series, book 1. Also a Mythreach Legends book. So everything that I've been working on all of this year has, except for By the Light of the Moon at the very beginning of the year, has all been Mythreach universe stuff. And then the Joseph parallel at one point, but everything else has been Mythreach universe. So that's when I started writing The Tides of War. And that's nice for me to know now because I'm on day 60. We'll look here in a minute, but I think it's day 66 or 67. And so I started writing The Tides of War August 13th, you guys. As you can see, I wasn't writing every day, but I do, like, if I write, that is the next day. So day 3, didn't write for like a week. And then, so this would be day 4, because that's the next time that I wrote. So I, obviously, so then we went on, we did my birthday and everything. I had my birthday and I got inspired I was rereading my fairy tale retelling for Tarzan. And I thought I was debating about setting those fairy tale retellings in the Mythreach universe because I built those worlds individually and I'm like, they could fit. And so I was debating about that and I decided to try to work on book 2, the Tarzan retelling sequel, which I called Son of the Kingdom for now. But nothing really came about. I didn't get too inspired for it. And so I went back to writing in The Tides of War, going into September. And as you can see, I put a lot of work, took a little bit of a break. And then, yeah, we went on our cruise. I'll have a card to that vlog series. And I did write on the cruise a little bit, which will be a video coming out soon, as I write around the ship, essentially. The best places to write on a cruise. So, October. So this has been my main book and the only book I've been writing since August. So October took a few breaks. For October 13th was the last time I had a break from writing. I have been writing every single day since then. So as you can see, I've been going very heavy at The Tides of War. No break, not even the weekends, just writing. I did add a little bit in my Struggle to Have a Baby book, but just writing constantly. And today is Friday the 17th. It is 66 days of writing in it, and I wrote this much today, and I'm here, 139,605 words, and I'm doing nano. My nano goal was to get to 150 and to finish the book. Don't know if that's going to happen, but that is what I've been working on this year, not counting editing Rogue. And I'm also editing Immortal, so I will show you Immortal because for me, editing my books is just as important. I also contacted a designer to redo the Valiant covers. That was my mistake. The last covers that I did not take my time and try to choose somebody who knew to do the genre, like to make a cover that fits the genre. And they look more like dark dark fantasy or dark romance. They look more like thriller, paranormal, urban fantasy kind of stuff, and I want them to really fit. It's not the designer's fault, it's my fault for not knowing more, and since then they just need to be rebranded, and this is the official cover for Hunter. I'll put it on the screen here. So I'm very excited, very proud of it. We're working on rebranding the whole series. I need to refigure out what I'm gonna do with the Valiant short companions, because those are post-credit scenes designed to set up bigger plot lines for the bigger story going on, like Marvel does. I did it first, so there is that. But so I'm fixing all of that. I finished proofreading Wildfire, which is right there, and I was going to proofread the first 2 books just because I might as well redo them while I'm working on it. And then I'm also editing Immortal, so let's take a look at that. I've also been scheduling my YouTube channel way ahead of time, so I've been filming videos and editing them and just working hard. So I'm going to have to open this, put the phone down, so I'm going to pause this and get this open and then show you guys. Okay, so this is the folder where I put everything that I've edited already, because my editor does things in print. So I will have the document sitting here. I'll have it pulled up here, and I will read it and then read through and implement the changes as I read. So when I get a era or section done, because it's divided into different historical time periods, I'll put the edited stuff in here. So this rest of this book, what you see here, is the eras I haven't done yet. So we're getting ready to go into 131 AD China. I just finished up Rome last night. So I'm going to try to open this a little bit. Okay. So this is, I don't log my editing, as I said. I'm really afraid of hurting these. Anyways, I don't log my editing, but I've been editing for about, I think tonight was day 13. I've been keeping track of my vlogs. So I'm doing a vlog series for that one. If I have it out, I'll put it up here. If not, then that's fine. So anyways, as you can see, sorry about my face. As you can see, different edits here, and it is officially 66 pages that I have done. And then I have a lot more to go. So that's like 300 pages or so right there. You can't really see, maybe you can see there. So very long book. So this is also a folder that I bought, and it's all my paper information about my Mythreach universe. I printed off, I've made a bunch of maps, and I'll put them here on the screen. All of my Mythreach maps, just flash them really quickly. And I printed them off and used marker to separate my different people in the war, the different factions and like troop movements and stuff like that. And then I used the same colors to mark troop movements and basically block out the war. If I have that vlog, I'll put it here, but I don't think I'll have it out by the time you guys are watching this, but I will have a vlog about that coming soon. When I get ready to publish some of this book series, it should be one of those. So that's that. And obviously one of the big things that we did this year was we redid a lot of our just areas, and my writing nook was one of them. So I have this bookshelf, which is a lot of the books that I read, the curtains, my whole setup, my desk, new computer recently, so a lot of stuff. And then this is my personal bookshelf, where this is all Immortal research. So these two, this is the old version of Immortal. So it's got missing eras, it's not edited, it's got a ton of stuff. Like this is even like I've edited it multiple times before I even sent it to my editor the first time. So this is before I even edited anything. And then this is Immortal, like I've been doing scripts for a TV show and everything else. So this is other books that I've edited, but all of this is Immortal research. All of this is Immortal research. And at the very bottom is space stuff, still Immortal research, but a lot of space stuff that I use to help me build my galaxy. And of course up here, my book series is. So one thing that I did was rebrand my books and myself as an author. So I did want to talk about that with you guys. Okay, so I did redo the covers, rebrand the series, and this is the fruit of those labors. So Hunter has had 2 versions of this, two different versions of this new cover, because the first image that we had was actually plagiarized and we didn't know it. It was copying cosplay from another franchise, so we redid it and ended up with this one. I also redid multiple versions of these covers because I did change the back blurbs. So I redid the blurbs of the whole series because the original one I had, they did not work. So then Rebels is the companion. Can't grab it. The companion to Hunter. So by the way, I know these covers make them look like political thrillers. I do have some people have said that they do like these covers, and I will probably be announcing the rebranding soon. So if this is this video is probably going to come out before my rebranding announcement. So as of the time you guys are watching this, this is the last few times you guys will have to buy this. I will be putting out a formal announcement video announcing that. But if you guys want to get an early start on ordering any of these Valiant books, this is one of the times you guys can do it because they will not be available afterwards. So that's Shifter. These are all going to fall down. I just know it. So then Samurai, and along with that, I actually got narrators for the whole series up to Rogue, which is the last one that was published, and I listened to the audiobooks and followed along with the paperbacks, and then marked down all the mistakes, and then got it back to the narrators. They would fix it, send it back to me. Sometimes this had to happen multiple times, so the audiobooks are all now released except for Assassin. The audiobook for it has been delayed, not anybody's fault. It's been delayed. But the rest of these all have audiobooks. Samurais and Rogues, I just got word that they just got out, so I'll probably be doing a party for that at some point. And I'll have links to all the audiobooks in the description below. So that's, and then Mortal, the companion. Mortal is actually one of these covers that I'm actually, Mortal and Immortal are the covers that I was reluctant to see go. So I really highly suggest you guys buy these before they're gone, because not gonna have them after this. But so I did spend a good portion of my time rebranding the series, editing these books one final time. So the good news is with these new rebranded covers, they do not need to be edited again, because they're as polished as they're gonna get. I have worked hard on all of these books, and I promise you they are good. But I did the audiobooks, I did the editing. The only one I haven't actually done is Rebels, and that's because I have to think about a lot of stuff, because that's going to need some rewriting done. But the rest of these, they're good to go. So that's one series, and I'll pause this and then get the other books and we'll talk about those. So the other thing I worked hard on was rebranding the Republic Chronicles. So this is Dark Magi. Dark Magi has a new cover now. I just bought it. I haven't even put it on any of the platforms to redo it yet, but it will be out by the time this video comes out. I'll have a link in the description below so you can grab the new version of Dark Magi. Editing's not changing. This book is as edited as it's going to be. So I'm very happy with that. It's just the cover. I heard people say this looks like Moses, and it's not at all Moses. In fact, I have a antagonist as a main character, and instead of, Moses, and then Light Magi. So I'm very excited. I went ahead and bought covers for the rest of the series because I know how many books there are. I know the book titles and everything, so none of that's going to change. I also bought covers for the guidebooks to my Republic Chronicles Galaxy, so I did that, and I got these republished, and I did re-edit them, although I'm going to do Dark Magi, Light Magi, one more time, and then work on Shadow Magi, which is going to be the next one launched, that hopefully I can get done next year along with Steel Magi. So I wanted to talk about, I don't have the new cover for this one, but I promise you the new version that actually matches this, I'll pop it up on the screen here, is actually the one that's for sale on all platforms, and it's completely free. So go ahead and order that free. I'll have the link in the description below. So that this book has a cover that matches these and the branding for these now. But I wanted to talk about this book because this book, it has a very special place in my heart. And again, you can get the ebook completely for free. So another thing that we did this year was this anthology where I had authors, friends of mine, write short stories set in my Republic Chronicles universe. And there is no paperback to this because, again, it's their stories, but it's my universe, so we couldn't figure out how to divide the money at that time. Since then, I've discovered a way. So we just decided to do it for fun because we wanted to, and for free. So we all had fun working. I had a lot of fun collaborating with all of these amazing authors and their stories. And it's just, the Republic Chronicles is such a vast, big galaxy. It's just like my Mythreach universe. It's just like the Valiant series, but it's so big that I wanted to share the creativity with other people because there's there's room in this galaxy for more than just me. And so therefore that is why we published this book. This paperback is not for sale. It is just an ebook that is for free on all platforms. Again, the link will be in the description below. It's free, so there's nothing lost on your part if you download it. Let us know what you think. We worked really hard to have fun with this. So that is the other thing that I did, was the Republic Chronicles. So the last series that I wanted to talk to you about that I rebranded was the Calamity's Hope series. This is a series of romantic suspense, contemporary romantic suspense books. And I edited Wildfire, well, sent it to beta readers, edited it, proofread it. As you can see, those are all my proof edits that I need to put into the book to get it finalized and ready for publication next February. I think if I'll have the publication date. It's available for pre-order. I'll have the link in that to the description below. So this is just a proof copy. The not for resale sign won't be there on the regular paperbacks, but it's about a war veteran who doesn't have a leg, and so I really support our war veterans, and I'm really just wanted to dedicate that to all of our veterans. But I rebranded the series with new font, updated font, and updated interior fonts as well. As you can see, you know, better that matches. So that's Volcano, and that's Earthquake, and then you have Wildfire. So while my goal, one of the goals we went over earlier was me wanting to outline the rest of the series. So while I didn't do that, I did rebrand the series since I'm kind of stuck on ideas for it for right now, but I did want to talk about that too. So while this vlog was not me going through and quickly trying to do all my New Year's resolutions for 2023, this has been a reflection of what I did accomplish this year, even though I decided that what I did do was more important than the resolutions that I can carry over to next year. I didn't focus a lot on publishing and marketing, but I did create a brand new universe. I wrote a lot. I edited for a lot of clients. I edited a lot of my personal books. Rogue and Immortal is what I'm working on now. I rebranded myself as an author. I rebranded the Republic Chronicles, the Valiant series, and the Calamity's Hope series. So I've done and accomplished a lot, and I'm really proud of what 2023 has brought me, and I hope that you guys have too. I was also pushing more on my YouTube content, so I don't think I missed a single Monday this year, and I've been trying to stay ahead of my content. I opened up Writer Reacts on Fridays where I react to trailers, and you know, Writer Reacts and Reviews where I react and review to different movies and stuff like that. I've actually read a lot more books this year, and I also opened up Wednesdays where I include my vlogs on Wednesdays. So I've done a lot this year, and I'm very happy and excited and grateful to God for helping me with all of this. So if you guys did like this video and all of this content and going over my whole year, then please give this video a like and subscribe for more writing and reading videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And if you liked this you know, overview of my year in 2023, then check out this video where I went through 2022 and what I accomplished and what I wanted to accomplish at the beginning of 2023. It's really great to watch back and forth between this one and that one to see what I wanted to accomplish when I started this year and what I ended up accomplishing and how my mindset and directions changed. So check that out. You don't want to miss it. And Happy New Year.